Well, good morning, Saddleback. How are we doing this morning? Yes. You know, it's been a minute since I've been here, and I gotta tell you, I like what you've done with the place. I like it. I like this. But I was thinking about this. I've known your pastors for over a decade. And you know what? Rick and Kay, they just get better and better with age, don't they? They just do. Now, it's not true with everybody, though. Not everybody gets better with age. You know that. Some people just get weird. They just do. You know that. It's just true. It's just true. But man, not you guys, not Saddleback. Man, it's good to be here with you. Now, last time I was here, I kind of went through my story a little bit. I told you who I am. So I'm actually Pakistani, and I speak Urdu. Yeah, any Pakistanis in the house? Yeah. Yeah, there's never any Pakistanis in the house. I should probably stop doing that. Yeah, but then I was raised in Kuwait, though. I was raised in Kuwait, so I speak Arabic as well. Any Kuwaitis in the house? Just forget it. And then, okay, so how about this? I went to an Indian school, though, so I speak Hindi. Any Indians in the house? Oh, come on. There's always one, yeah? There's one. There's always one. There's always one Indian everywhere, but no. So all these languages, and you know what's funny is that because I speak English as well, so people, apparently, yeah, I'm trying, okay? But I pick up a lot of mannerisms, and so I have this all the time. I get this all the time where people go, oh, you know what? When I say something or I act a certain way or look a certain way, they go, oh, you look like so-and-so. You look like so-and-so. You look like so-and-so. Oh, you know who you remind me of? Has that ever happened to you? Like people have just stopped you and go, you know who you remind me of? Now, when you've had this, now as soon as that happens, you know, right? That at that moment, the relationship is going to change, right? Because based on who they show you, you look like, it's going to all change. You're like, I look like so who? So back in the day, there was a show called Lost, okay? And when Lost was going on, it was a pain for me, okay? Here's why, because, stop it. Some of you guys are like, oh, no. Stop it, leave right now. No, I'm joking. I get it though, Let me show you a picture. Of the actor, okay? And his beautiful wife, okay? Here's what he looks like, right there, okay? I don't look like him. Anyways, whatever. Okay, he's Indian. Now, it does not help that his name is Naveen and my name is Naeem. So, now this is a picture of my beautiful wife and me. Don't say I look like him. I know. I was like, that's why I cut off the hair. I was like, I'm done. Now, I do have one more picture, just one more picture of my family. I gotta do that. I'll show you one more picture. Oh, this right here, okay? Now, you guys are wondering, you're like, this is the only picture you found? Yes. You know how hard it is to get teenagers and the whole family to get a picture? You guys know. So this is it. This is my beautiful family. So, man, I am, again, like I said, so glad I'm here. But I got to talk to you about something in particular. And it's connected to this idea of how people view you, or maybe how you view yourself. Because I think so often there are people who would love to say, you know what, you act like, you look like so-and-so. And then sometimes people would just go one step further and they would say, you know what, you should act like, or you do this, or you should do this, and you should act like that, and you should wear this, and they begin putting their expectations on you. We've all got stories about that. And so what happens is at times we resist it, but then sometimes we just kind of go along with it. And I wonder today if you are doing that. I wonder today if you are living a life that really is you were never meant to live. You're playing a part that you were never meant to play. It's because people have thought something about you and told you this is who you are, and this is who you're supposed to be, and this is the part you're supposed to play, and you've just been playing that part. And I wonder if that's the reason why you're just frustrated, and some of you are angry, some of you are confused. You're like, I don't think the life that I want to live is happening before me. I feel like there are two kinds of people, the person I want to be and the person who is actually living the life that I'm living right now. And could it be possible that it's connected to this idea that you have been living and playing a part that you were never supposed to play? And I think spiritually it's the same thing. See, spiritually, depending on where you are, you begin to hear a message about who you should be and how you should act. And you and I begin to walk in that. We begin to become those kinds of people. And so I just want to move you to further in this conversation and say, I wonder if the person you're supposed to be and the part you are playing, is it really what you're supposed to be doing? So here's what I want to do. I want to go to the scriptures really quick and talk to you about a familiar passage for some of you. Maybe for others of you it might be brand new, but this is a passage that we kind of know the moral of the story in a sense. But it's a real story. It's not a parable. It's not a story that Jesus made up. It's actually just an event that took place. So if you got your Bibles, jump with me to Luke, and we're going to be in Luke chapter 8. Can you say chapter 8? Chapter 8, verses 42 to 48. And here's where it goes. It goes into the story, and it starts off like this, okay? So I'm going to have some fun with the story, okay? Let's just be in the story a little bit. It starts off, it says, as Jesus was on his way, the crowds almost, help me out, almost what? Now, very key point here. The crowd almost crushed him. That means obviously this was, pre-COVID, obviously. Okay, there's no social distancing happening here. There's a whole bunch of people. And then it says, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for how many years? 12 years, and no one could heal her. She came up behind him and touched the edge of his cloak, and immediately her bleeding stopped. Okay, let's just stop right there. Okay, some of you are like, oh, I know this story. I remember this story. Some of you are like, oh, this is interesting, because what's happening? First of all, Jesus is on his way. Where is he going? Well, he's actually going to heal another little girl who's dying. So he is busy. There are people behind him, around him that says, we got to keep going. We got to go do this. We got to do this. There's a dad whose daughter is dying basically in front of him saying, okay, this is where follow me, let's go. So he's on his way, major crowd. And then what happens? A woman comes in. She doesn't even say, hello, excuse me. Can I really get a quick, can I get a miracle really quick? No. She just goes in and she sneaks in and she gets a miracle, and like an illegal miracle. Like she just gets it. She goes in, gets it. But did you notice she doesn't even touch him? She just touches what? The edge of his cloak. What's going on? Why? Well, see, the thing is that this is something a rabbi would wear. Not the original, obviously. Not the original, okay? But something like this that a rabbi usually wore. You're like, okay, rabbi. Yeah, Jesus was considered a rabbi. He was considered a rabbi. So he would walk around like something like this. And this was common attire for rabbis. And so they would walk around. Okay, what does that have to do with the story? Well, she touches the edge of his what? His cloak. Why does she touch the edge of his cloak? Why? Because as a Jewish woman, and as a little girl even, she grew up singing songs about a Messiah who would come and have healing on his wings. And actually in Malachi, Old Testament, it says the Son of Righteousness will come and he will have healing in his wings. Some of the Jewish myths out there was like the Messiah, whoever he comes, he's going to have healing in his wings. Is the guy going to have wings? No. Why? Because in context, the wings of a rabbi were actually connected to what he was wearing, because the shawl that he was wearing, when the rabbis would walk around and the wind would catch it, they would look at a rabbi and they go, hey, look at his wings. So when she came and touched the edge of his cloak, she was actually touching what? The wings. And so when she touched the wings, all of a sudden it happened. It happened, right? Could you imagine if it's you? You're like, oh my gosh, right? I'm not supposed to be here, but guess what? I'm here and I got healed. But you're not supposed to be in the crowd. Could you imagine? Have you ever been in a moment where you're like, I gotta tell someone, but I can't tell anybody? Like, this is the moment. This is a selfie moment. I just got healed. Like, this is it. This is a big thing. So she goes, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Well, she's probably walking away going, I cannot believe this. This is awesome. And then something happens. What happens? Well, Jesus stops. So he's walking around with his wings. He stops and he goes, who touched me? Now, remember we started the story You remember how many people were there? A lot, yes. They were almost crushing him, right? Who touched me? And Jesus said it. And when they all denied it, Peter, and I love this, Peter is like, he's the guy, right? He is the guy who will just say it. No one else wants to say it, he'll say it. He's like, I'll just say it. I'll just say it. And I don't know if he's being sarcastic here or what. He starts off with, says, Master, the people are crowding and pressing against you. Like, this is a son of God, not so bright. Like, what? Hello. What do you do? Why would you say that? Like, what? What do you mean? Everybody's touching everybody. What do you mean? What's going on here? But Jesus is like, stopped. Who touched me? And they're like, oh God, not another moment. Like, come on. You gotta go into another story? Like, what? We gotta go. There's a little girl waiting. What's happening? He goes, no, who touched me? And the woman, just imagine the woman. This is a real story. The woman's like creeping away. And then he stops and he goes, who touched me? And she goes. And I can just imagine, because it takes a long time between one verse and the other. The next thing that Jesus does is so interesting, because he basically waits around and he starts looking around. I can just imagine. Okay, just bear with me. I can just imagine him going. And she's like, don't make eye contact. Don't look up, don't look up, don't look up, don't look up. Oh, he's looking at me. And he's like, so there's a back and forth. Now, you think I'm just joking, but here's why. Because the next verse, it says this, verse 47, it says, then the woman, seeing that she could not go unnoticed. Basically, she was like, okay, fine. Let's do this. So she's afraid. She's not supposed to be there. Came trembling and fell at his feet. In the presence of all the people, she told why she had touched him and how she had been instantly healed. And then he said to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace. I mean, the statement that she made was huge. She was like, I think you're the Messiah. If you're the Messiah, I'll just touch the wings and it'll happen. And it happened. She tells him all the story. She tells everybody else the story. And so this is profound, right? You've heard this message before. Some of you, like, I kind of know. I know. The one touch of the Messiah is all we need. We can look around for relationships. We can look around for things in our lives. But you know what? All you have to do is touch Jesus and come close to Jesus, and you'll be healed. I mean, that's the message. And so if you find yourself in the story, the humanity finds itself, and Christians find ourselves where? As playing the part of the woman. Of course, right? We come and touch Jesus, and that's what the world has to do. Come and touch Jesus. That's the part you and I are supposed to play. We're the ones with the issues, and we've got to come and touch Jesus. We've got sickness, we've got sin, we've got all these things, and we got to come and touch Jesus by faith. And if you do it by faith, man, your faith will heal you. That is the story. We've heard this story. We know. This is the moral of the story. This is what we're supposed to do. That's our part to play. Or is it? Is it? The Jewish rabbis also used to have this concept, it's called turning the gem. You see, ancient rabbis believed the Torah had 70 faces. They would call them the 70 faces of Torah. Meaning, the concept of turning the gem is that they believed that the Torah, the scriptures, were alive and active. It was like a gem. That if you put it against the light and turn it, you will see a particular part of the gem that you've never seen before. They viewed the scriptures like that. And so when Jesus taught, when his parables and what he did with his life and what he's allowed to put in the scriptures is connected to the holy scriptures of this idea of turning the gem. That when we look at the stories of the Bible, we realize that there's so much more going on. And if you only look at it in one light, you only see one part of it. But if you turn the gem just a little bit, you'll see, oh, I see another character of God. I see it something else there. I see a truth that I've never seen before. If you just turn the gem, if you take a story and you turn it just a little bit and shine it and say, okay, does this match the character of God? So if we were to do this with this passage, then what would be the part that you and I are supposed to play? It's connected to why Jesus stopped, because Jesus was on his way. Why was he stopping? He could have easily done this. Okay, I know what you did. Okay, we gotta go. Text me later. Okay. He could have done that, but he stops. He makes a big deal about it. Why does he stop? For the healing? No, she's already healed. Who does he stop for? You and me. Because right here, if you turn the gem, what Jesus is really doing, I think it's possible, very possible. What he's doing is, he's basically saying, you're not supposed to be the woman in this story. You're supposed to be me. Because power will go out from you. And there are invisible people. There are unnoticed people in your life. And the reason why I'm stopping, and I want the disciples to know the power goes out from me, is that one day you'll be in my position. You'll be walking through crowds of people, broken humanity that's been seeking answers for so long, and you're going to be the one that power will go out from. That's what we need, friends. That's what the world needs. The world does not need Christians with issues. It needs a church with power. Right? I mean, that is why Jesus said, hey, before I leave, I'm going to breathe into you. Don't worry, it's not COVID. I'm going to breathe into you. I'm going to breathe into you. Here, receive what? The Holy Spirit. Receive power from on high. You will receive power. You'll do greater things than I will. And see, some of you are like, oh, that's cute. I get it. That's out there a little bit. And actually, I'm thinking, where is Rick? That's what I'm thinking. You know, that's really what I'm thinking. Okay, I get it. Okay, just bear with me here. Could it be possible that power could go out from you? Well, it's true. Why is it true? Not because of necessarily faith, but because of science. For example, your brain uses electromagnetic pulses to communicate with all of your body, your organs. Your brain communicates. That's how your body works. Some of you are like, oh, I did not know that. Yes, it's true. That's how your body's doing this stuff. Your brain is communicating and talking by electromagnetic pulses. There's only one other organ in your body that generates more electromagnetic pulses than your brain. Your heart. In fact, scientists have figured out and invented machines to track that your electromagnetic pulses can be felt 3 to 5 feet away. So when people say, I like your energy, you know why they're saying that? They don't even know. Because they are feeling your energy. When you walk into a crowd and you walk by a person or a couple of people and you go, I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't know. You can't explain it. You know why? Because their heart is generating some stuff. The opposite is true too. You walk into Saddleback and you're like, I like this place. I don't know why. I feel loved here. I feel safe. Have you ever felt that? I feel safe here. You know why? Because there's a bunch of people here. Bunch of people whose hearts are spewing out acceptance and love and hope and reconciliation. But then the opposite is true too, is that if your heart is filled with other things, like judgment and doubt and bitterness and unforgiveness and rage and anger and despair and anxiety, then what's going to happen? It's going to come out. And the problem is with those electromagnetic pulses, those darn things don't listen to you and me. They just do it. You walk around and whatever is in you comes out. Why do you think Proverbs, the writer of Proverbs, says this? Let me read this to you. Proverbs 4:23. He says this. Check this out. He says, above all else. In the Greek means above all else. That's what it means. Above all else, what? Guard your what? Heart. For everything you do flows from it. As if this guy knew. He was like, you know what? They're going to find out that there are electromagnetic pulses. That's why we tell people, guard your heart. Why? Because whatever is in your heart, it will spew out 3 to 5 feet away. You will be affecting people. You have a natural, supernatural power. And that's why Jesus is like, hey, let me just tell you, in this story, I'm stopping because I want to teach you something that you're going to be walking through a broken humanity, and you need to be me. And it's some of you Some of you, maybe the message is, I love you, I love you, I know your heart's broken, but it's time you stop being the one with the issues. It's time that you be me. It's time that you be me. Man, right now, the world does not need Christians with issues. It needs a church with power that owns it. Now, we're not perfect by any means because we have unconsciously allowed other things to flow from our hearts. Isn't it true? That's why people are not so totally drawn to the church, because we've held on to judgment. We've held on to prejudice. We've held on to a lot of things where we should not. And here today, God is saying, hey, here, let's fix this. Let's fix this, because so much hangs in the balance. There are so many unnoticed people walking around who desperately need you and me. So let's do this. So how do we do this? Because for some of you, you're like, okay, I get that. Okay, I'll buy into that, Naeem. I'll buy into that. But my heart is broken. And I get that. I mean, I've lost loved ones during the last 2 years. So many people in my life that, man, I don't even know. I don't even know. Do you get to a point where you like hear another bad, sad news and you're like, I can't even. I can't do it. I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know. Yeah, it's true. For some of us, we don't even have a full heart, like a whole heart. We don't. And we know this. We used to be people who were just so full of life. And man, and you're sad now and you don't even know. This morning you woke up and you're like, okay, let's just do this, right? Let's just do this. Let's just do it. Let me just go through the motions. Man, I get that. I get that. For some of us, it's hurt. Man, the amount of betrayal you have felt during the past maybe couple of years, you never thought you'd go through. The friendships that some of us have lost because of even a pandemic, we couldn't imagine. So I get it when your heart is broken. I get it when your heart's not full. I get it. But you got to guard your heart, because everything you do and everything you are flows from it. And this broken world, this sick world in a sense, needs us and needs your whole heart. So how do we tackle this, right? So we go to a guy who was known for a man after his own heart, right? God's own heart. Who's that guy? David. David is the guy. So when you look at the life of David, you're like, okay, well, there's a lot of things in his heart. He had some good days and the boy had some really bad days. Okay, let's just be honest. And the one thing David was, he was honest with God. Because he knew this: if you're honest with God, God will make you holy. But if you pretend to be holy, we're never honest. So he was always honest with God. And so Psalm 139, I think, gives us kind of some practical steps on how we can do this. Psalm 139, he says, before he ends it, verse 23, he says, search me. Search me. Search me, God. Know my heart. Test me. And know my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Search me. That might be the first thing, right? Search me. And that is a very courageous prayer, right? Am I right? I mean, if I look at my life, I'm like, no, don't go there. Right? No, search this because I've just cleaned it. But don't search that. No. It's like, do not enter places. It's a whole mess in there. You go in there, God, I don't know. I'll pray for you, because I don't know if you're coming out. That's a whole lot of mess. But man, if we were honest, God, search me. You know what? Know me. Know me. Know my heart. Know my heart. I think the best thing we can do right now is, God, I don't even know the condition of my heart. When people say, oh man, I know your heart, I see your heart, you're like, nah, you don't. Because I don't know. But you know who does know? God. Search me, God. So maybe that's the first thing. You open up your heart to him. You open up the despair, you open up the anxiousness, the depression to him, the darkness. You open up that dark door. And maybe the light's too bright right now, but you just open it up. You just open it up. The second is, you say, show me. Show me. Show me, God. Show me. You see, it's one thing to pray, God, show me who you are and show me where you're working in my life. But it's a whole different prayer when you say, show me me. Show me me. Show me what I do. Show me what I do. Man, that's tough. It's tough. Show me how bitter my heart really is. Show me how anxious I really am. Show me how just enraged I am. Show me that I've been pretending for the last 6 months and singing the songs that I don't even believe in anymore. Show me that. Show me the stuff that I've been saying. Show me the addictive habits that I've fallen into because I've got to control this drama and this trauma and this pandemic, and I've fallen into some things that I never thought I would fall into. Just show me. Show me. Show me what the good and bad of it. Show me everything. Just show me me. And then lastly, use me. Use me. Like, lead me in the way of everlasting. Use me. Allow me to be used by you. Use me for your purpose. And the reason why this prayer is so important is because it moves us from out of being self-focused into God-focused and the world-focused. It moves us from being the one with the issues to the Jesus in the story. Use me says, hey, God, I want you to use me. I'm not perfect by any means, but I want you to use me. That's what David said. I want you to use me. And God used him. He was not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But he was used by God again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Use me, God. Use me. I'm not perfect. I don't even obey it takes me a week sometimes. Maybe a month. But use me, God. I want to be used by you. That is a very courageous prayer to pray. But that is the prayer you and we need to pray. God, search me, show me, and then use me. And God will use you when you don't even know that you're being used by God. God lets you walk into a space and into a conversation, and then you filled your heart with joy and love. You filled your heart with expectancy. You've filled your heart with this peace and acceptance, and you walk in and someone will feel love and joy and safe and security. They'll feel their anxiousness go away because you've walked into the room. How many of you have had that experience, right? You walk into a room or someone calls you and your anxiety, everything that was inside of you, one phone call and you're at peace. You know this to be true because the opposite is true too. You can have a great day, you get one phone call, you're like, no, my life stinks. Thanks, Mom. It's true. It's true. So what if though, you would say, God, use me. Allow me to step into some moments. I'm reminded of a story about your pastor. So several years ago, my dad tried to commit suicide. And he survived it, but he was in pretty bad shape. And he was not going to last. And anyways, we were in the hospital. And I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters. And like I said, they're Middle Eastern. We grew up Muslim. But now they've actually come to Christ. And my mom is still a Muslim. Anyways, we're there. And some other people are there as well. And I had texted a couple of pastors the day before and just told them about the situation and just said, hey, would you just pray? And so Pastor Rick, he texted me back and he goes, can you talk? And I was like, sure. He's like, now. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Sure, okay. So we're in the hospital and I call him and he goes, hey, is your family there? And I'm like, yeah, his family's there. He said, I'd love to talk to them. I was like, okay, well, there's a lot of us. You're like, okay. And so I figure it out. I'm like, okay, hold on one second. And so we're in the hospital. So we're like, I'm looking for a family bathroom. Have you seen one of those things? Family bathrooms? I was like, that's a family bathroom. And I tell my family, let's all go in here. It was the funniest thing because I'm sure the staff was like, Middle Eastern people. Why? So we walk into this bathroom, all of us in this bathroom, and we got Pastor Rick on speaker. And for the next hour, he just talks and cries with us and consoles us. And man, I can tell you the peace, the assurance, the grace, the perspective, the presence of Jesus in that bathroom through that phone. Like my Muslim mom couldn't even understand it. And I don't even think Pastor Rick realized what he did that day. But it changed our perspective on everything. He just stepped into a moment and started being himself. And it changed everything. Changed everything. Man, could it be possible for you and I to do the same? And now you might think, oh, well, that's Pastor Rick. Well, yeah, that's Pastor Rick, and he's pretty awesome. But you know what's awesome? Myrrh? That's a word, okay? That's a word. I'm making it up. Is the God behind the whole thing. Let me read you what Paul says. Paul in Ephesians 1:19 says, I pray that you will understand. What would you understand? He said, I pray you to understand. And I think this verse, by the way, is for you guys. It's for Saddleback. Hey, I pray you to understand. You to understand the incredible greatness of God's power for us who believe. This is the same, the exact same. No difference, no less. This is the same mighty power that raised Christ from the dead. Like this power has so much in it that will raise dead things to life. And seated him in the place of honor at God's right hand in the heavenly realms. He said, I pray that you would understand. I'm praying that you would understand the incredible greatness of this power. It's so mighty, it's so potent. It was the power that created everything that you and I see. It's the same power that created all of creation and continues to create the cosmos. It is that same power that lives inside of you. So don't tell me that's Pastor Rick. It's the same power that lives inside of you. Don't tell me, no, my sin and I don't have a personality. And we know all of that. It's all good. But it's that same power that lives inside of you. Because here's what's going to happen. You and I are going to continue to either live our lives being people with all the issues, or we're going to be the people with power that step into a moment and go, God, just use me. Just use me. Just use me. And you know why this is so important? It's so important because inside each and every one of us, there is this, you don't even understand, I can't even explain it, but there's this idea that you were meant to live a great life. That you were meant to be so significant. Inside each and every one of us, there's a desire to really matter in life, to make it, to live this big, epic life. And so the reason why I know this is because our culture, and we buy into that and we like that. We love people when people tell us, you're going to do great things. Like you never look at a kid and go, you know what? You're going to be mediocre. You don't do that. You always go, you're going to do great things, and you're going to do good things, and you're going to do good things. You're going to live an awesome life. Has anybody stopped and goes, okay, is everybody doing that? So if everybody's going to do great things, who's going to do the significant things? Like, who's going to do this? And we live in this tension. Some of you live in this tension of I need to live this big life. I need to live this big life. Why? Because people have told me I'm supposed to live this big life. And let me just tell you, this story tells us the secret. It tells us the secret of you and I getting off this treadmill of trying to live this epic life that the world tells us to live. Because it can't happen. It's not true. Because there are things that happen in this world, and you know you got all the talent and all the resources, and then something tragic happens, and the epic life doesn't happen. And so is it a lie? No. The lie is this, that you and I are supposed to write the biggest story of our life. That can't be true. No, the truth is you and I were supposed to find our life in the biggest story. And that biggest story is the story of God. It's the story of God using you. It's your purpose. It's not you and I live this epic life. No, we find our life in this epic story. We can't live this amazing life. No. We live this significant life. We play this significant part in this amazing story of God. See, that is what humanity was created to do. And when we do that, there is so much fulfillment. There's so much satisfaction. And you get off the treadmill of always trying to make it. Because you already have made it. You already have. And for some of you, you need to know this. He looks at you and go, you know what? Everyone has told you you're not enough, including you. And I'm looking at you right now with everything you've got. And your life is a mess, but you're my mess. And I'm telling you this. You're enough. You're enough. You're enough. You're enough. Let's not be the people with the issues. Let's be the church with power. Let me pray for us. Lord God, thank you so much for this conversation. God, I pray that we would realize this moment that we're living in right now is so significant. That God, that you're calling all of us to no longer become just these Christians living separate lives. No. God, we would become believers, followers of Jesus who become the church. And we become the church, that church, that the power of hell cannot come against. That God, the gates of hell can't stand against. We would become that. We would no longer be people, God, who are trying everything we can to stay out, in a sense, of hell. But we would be people who are convinced of your power, and we would go to the gates of hell because there are people inside of hell, inside of torment, inside of grief, inside of darkness that we need to rescue. That God, that we would be those kinds of people. And God, that the church of the next generation will be raised up with power, not issues. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Thanks, guys.